just
What do you mean?
Like giggly kind of stuff, like weird, like, you know, watch them blow you and stuff. And it's like, I'd rather watch some like really crazy stuff, like orgy kind of stuff.
Giggly stuff. You're just like, oh, this tame nonsense.
Yeah, like
stop gobbling this knob and do something cool.
There you go. Yeah, I just want something kind of wild. I'm Thom Naylor. Hanging out with porn stars and showgirls is fucking awesome. But how much do we really know about them? Join me on the Side Piece podcast, where we sit down with them and hear some of the craziest stories from inside the industry. I look forward to seeing you, and follow me on the Side Piece podcast. All right, welcome to the Side Piece podcast, and my guest this time is Autumn Nights. Autumn, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Good. It's weird without the headset because I'm so used to hearing myself talk.
Okay.
So we're going to have fun tonight.
Do you want to?
No.
Okay.
I like it like this. It was a good choice on your part.
Just raw dogging it.
That's right. Oh, right off the beginning. Well, I know that today, obviously, I had to have pissed you off, and I apologize deeply. Like a fucking moron. I was in the car, and I sent you the hotel, and I sent you to the wrong hotel. And thankfully, with my iPhone update, I was able to get to the phone, and when I saw your text coming through, and I looked up, and I saw Garden, I was like, oh, she's going to fucking kill me. She's at the wrong hotel.
No, it's fine. I had just had to wait on my bag for an extra long time because for somehow from my getting from the plane to the baggage claim, they had already whisked it away like it had been some abandoned baby.
Oh, really?
And taken it to the office. And so I'm standing there at my claim, and it's just not coming. And I'm like, okay, cool. So then I go over there, and it's just sitting there, and I'm just like, I did nothing. I could have had this bag. So I had already waited on my bag for a while, and then got to the hotel, and then I was like, oh, dang it. But it was, it happened.
So you got an Uber tour of the city.
Yeah.
Did you see any sights?
No, I stared at my cell phone, obviously.
Perfect. Yeah, it's funny because when it rains in DC, it's like snow.
Everybody's like, ooh.
Yeah. How was the airport getting out? Was it a mess?
Yeah, it was a little congested, but...
I figured. Because where I come from, I'm about 8 minutes from the airport. If I come and pick you up at a normal time, I get in, I'm right there. Oh. She's fully dressed. You don't have to take so many pictures.
Paparazzi.
Yeah. So they, I can usually get over there very quickly. But then I thought today I'd have an Uber pick you up because it'll take me an hour to get to you. And then I'll be sitting there waiting. And they'll keep moving me on. And I'll have to keep circling the airport to come back for you. And then once I get you, then we'll have to come out. And it'll be like a 2.5 hour trip.
No, it's not worth it. I actually really don't mind taking an Uber. Honestly, it takes a little bit of the pressure off. Because sometimes, like, when you're hired to be hot girl and you show up in your sweatpants and your ponytail and your, like, zit sticker. And, it's like kind of nice to just be like, they'll see me when I'm ready.
I'm going to tell Mary Carey that next time. Get rid of the hat. No, I'm kidding. No. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'll tell you a couple of reasons why. I had heard your name many times all over. I had seen different clips of you, and then obviously I was waiting to see you perform at this show this year. And that wasn't hinging on me booking you, but I wanted to see what you looked like on stage in person. And I can only tell you I was wowed.
Thank you.
It was an amazing show. And obviously you were up against a friend of mine. And, I thought Phoenix did a wonderful job too. And Phoenix, please don't fucking call me and bitch, but Autumn, you had that.
Thank you. Thank you. I know. I love Phoenix. She's such
fantastic.
A sweetheart. She's everybody's friend. She's
she's
wonderful.
Great. But like
and
I said,
talented.
I always know when you see she's perfected her performance, but your performance just had something else to it that it obviously caught my attention. I think it was the one-armed aerial act, when you started swinging out widely. That was impressive.
Thank you.
You had a good range. It looked beautiful. I think the lighting worked for you. Everything was perfect. So congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
I was impressed.
Yeah, it was really, really fun. The venue was so cool. When I saw how much height we had, I was like, wow, this is going to be fun.
I was going to ask you, did you get to see the height when you got there and you were like, okay, this is what we're doing? Or
if I had, they told me I had a lot of height, but it's like until you know what you get, you don't really know. And so it can be a little bit hard to prepare. Like maybe I would have made a different decision if I had known earlier, but it worked out and it was really fun. And Lyra is my apparatus of choice. And
I was going to ask you because you were very smooth.
Thank you. Thank you.
I don't know what you call that, but even when you were coming down and kind of just like doing a toe touch, and coming back. That was just graceful.
Thank
there
you.
was no fuck ups at all
Thank
that
you.
I could see. Maybe in your brain you were probably
absolutely.
like, no, I
I'm
did
always
this,
my
I did
biggest
that.
critic. But because of some of the shows I've been in, I've gotten to be on a high-speed winch before, so where they're like pulling you pretty fast into the air. Those orbits are getting lifted, and I've gone pretty high, like in the same position, and so the orbits and the swings, that's pretty comfortable to me because of those experiences that I've had in the bigger aerial shows that I've been a part of.
So let's talk about that. So I mean, I know this is part of your past, but you were involved with a traveling show, as well as, I guess, a stationary show, and that was called Arium.
Yeah, that was a touring show. That was the biggest production that I've gotten to be a part of, especially in an ongoing way. So I was a cast member in a show that was just starting out. So it was a newer company that was trying to get some footing. And it started out in 2018. We had a pretty good year in 2019. And then, of course, the pandemic totally ruined it for us. So we tried to bring it back, kind of revamped the show in 2021. Did a small tour in Texas, but selling tickets was really, really difficult, and the company ended up going under, unfortunately.
That's a shame, because I was looking at some of the footage. It looked like it was all aerial acts.
Yeah, it was pretty much a full aerial show. We did add some dancers in the second iteration.
Yeah.
But it was, a really beautiful storyline. It was family friendly. And it was a fantasy, and it was all about the good versus evil and the seed of power and the baby twins that got separated at birth, one raised by the evil person and one raised by the good queen, and the battle that ensued. It was a really nice show. It was really fun to be a part of. I looked through it. I'll have to look through it some more. I didn't have a lot of time to go through many, but I watched like 5 different pieces of footage. Yeah.
That were pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
The lighting looked really great.
Yes. We had a really great lighting designer as a part of it. Yeah, they really pulled out all the stops.
Nice.
Yeah, it was cool to be a part of.
So tell me about Autumn Nights. So what I understand, well, one, you are a feature performer at the Lodge in Dallas.
Yes.
So tell me about that. So you're not a house girl, you're a house feature performer.
Yeah.
Now, do you also dance on stage during the weekday, or do you just perform on the weekend?
I perform on the weekends, and then I'm a regular house girl on the weekdays.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, so I go in whenever I want. There are certain days of the week, right?
I come and go at that, please.
Yep, I do have that luxury. No schedules there.
No, that's perfect.
But when I intend to be there on the weekends, I post that I'm going to be there, and that's when I do my aerial shows. Is twice a night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, when I'm in town, when I'm not featuring. And then on the rest of the week, if I want to go in for a shift, then I'm just Autumn, no nights.
Now let me segue, because you just said something important that I always think about. Since you're at the club all the time and you're probably familiar with the house girls there,
Mm-hmm.
do you try to impart any wisdom on them as to how important social media is, whether we like it or not, to get those clients to come see you, to come into that club when you're there? Do you see the other people that are working around you doing that same thing, or do you see yourself as viewing what you do more professionally than they do? I mean, I guess I should phrase it differently. What do you see house girls doing wrong that you're doing right?
I guess I haven't even really thought about it that way. I know that,
I don't mean to make a big segue, but it's always a
I
question of
spent
mine.
10 years of being a stripper in the dark because I was like, what am I going to do after this? I don't want this to hurt whatever future I may have, like the stigma associated, all that stuff. I didn't have a social media. I didn't have any public anything. And then I just finally did away with it. I said, if I'm going to be doing it this long, then I'm doing this seriously, obviously. Yeah. So I kind of went all in, and that's when I started doing, the full Instagram, OnlyFans, everything else. There are a handful of girls that work at the club that I work at that are comfortable posting on social media and trying to use that as a draw for the club. But there's a lot of girls that just really value their privacy. And so, no, I certainly don't try to advise. I don't give advice to anyone who doesn't ask for it.
Yeah. No, understandable. Because I always look at it even as our house girls here. I know some of them have, their false Instagrams or, something that just has, a different name or their house name here. But they're just not aggressive in looking at it or using that as a tool. Mm-hmm. They'd rather just gather people's phone numbers. And I think that's such a dangerous way to do it.
Yeah.
Where there's so many platforms that you can have that gray area and that anonymity where you can say through Instagram, hey, I'm here at this. You don't have to give somebody your number.
Yes.
So it creates that barrier.
Yeah, everybody does things so differently. Some girls really like to build like a really strong regular relationship, and which may or may not come with different manipulations. But I've never been much of a regular person. I don't build those really close relationships, because when I leave work, I'd like to be off work.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to be continuing to chat with people in a working kind
no,
of environment.
Understandable. Yeah, I never think about that when you leave, somebody's texting you.
Yeah, and you never know. I mean, I definitely have. You become close with people inevitably. Sometimes you make friendships, or sometimes you have safety and comfort, and you do feel okay giving them your number, and they're not going to blow you up. But you never know who's going to potentially take it a little farther. You know, there's protections that we can take as far as getting a Google Voice number and various other things. But
I always forget about those. Mm-hmm. I need that for my drug dealing. No, so I didn't mean to make a big segue, but we'll get back to that because I have a couple more questions on just being a part of a club, family per se. Mm-hmm. So I am disappointed. I didn't know that there was an after party when we were at the show at the lodge, and I've been wanting to go there for years, literally years.
I'm sorry you missed it.
I know, I am too. And I was thrown off because, like I had asked you earlier before we started talking, I had always heard about the woman that owned it.
Yes.
And when they went up to get the awards, a man took the award, and I was like, have I been wrong for
right.
Or was it sold? And so I'm glad you reassured me, because I heard that she was kind of, I don't want to use the word cutting edge, but she was definitely doing things that other club owners were not doing.
Yeah.
She was really taking care of the women that worked for her and her employees. I guess she had like daycare and 401k programs and retirement things for them, and had
I think she used to have
talk.
speakers come in and try to give them advice on she's always been really genuine in her caring for, like, wanting people to do well, wanting people to take this opportunity and build it into something else, like wanting them to set themselves up for a future or a path into something else when the time came.
Well, in a strange way, without knowing her, I definitely looked at a lot of things that I was doing and kind of thought about what I'd heard she was doing, and didn't mirror it, but I definitely she was in my thoughts as to how I was doing things.
I think that's wonderful.
So
inspiration.
Oddly, a kind of a weird mentor, a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know her. I don't know her anything. She doesn't know me anything. But like I said, I just thought it was pretty empowering to hear the stories that I heard.
And I love working there, and she still takes really good care of us. And some of those other things aren't really happening anymore, but she continues to keep house fees super low, if not free. If you come at a certain time, it's free. She gives you a meal.
That's what I heard too. Yeah.
Yeah. Shift meal every time if you're ready before 7. There's a strong no tipping the managers
That's
rule.
a great rule, because we have that rule too. Mm-hmm. I do not believe in that.
Yeah, because there just ends up being so much of a squeeze out, and there's certain places I go where I feel like I'm tipping out like 15 people, and like I
look at it as a graft.
Yeah,
like, it's like people just not only does it establish some kind of weird I like her, I don't like her.
Yeah.
But it also pits people against each other in the club, because they're like, well, how much did she give him?
Yeah.
Is that why I'm not getting this schedule?
Mm-hmm.
And I did away with that a long time ago.
Yeah.
We don't have house fees here at the club either.
Mm-hmm.
We did away with that. All of our dancers are employees, which I'll ask you about. Obviously this is a big thing in the industry. I was just on a podcast with Bambi Wild, and then we talked about it. I personally, at this point now, I was a big person for conversion a long time ago, when clubs were being sued heavily.
Mm-hmm.
And there were certain attorneys that were saying, "Oh no, just take the hits. It'll come." And then I realized after a couple of these clubs took the hits, these same people that were telling them to take the hits helped other clubs buy them out. When they were weak and when they were down and out, and they had already had enough lawsuits against them. They were like,
my gosh.
That's a good time to swoop in and buy them.
You can't trust anybody.
Yeah, so it really wasn't good advice.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good advice for the dancers either, because I think most people were using or leveraging control heavily on them, and saying, your hair is like this, your eyelashes, your makeup, your clothing, your time in, your time out.
As an employee, that's what's happening?
Well, that's what was happening as independent contractors.
Oh, really? Okay.
And I think there needed to be some balance in there.
Okay.
And that balance came with conversion. But then on the other side of conversion now, we have a new problem that people, advocates that aren't part of our industry, have abolished the tip credit in certain cities. So that makes dancers accountable for their tips, their wages. It makes us accountable to pay them a minimum wage now instead of, like we pay a waitress or a bartender. Now everybody gets paid heavily. So that impact on the clubs is, we've had 4,000 jobs in DC alone lost in the last 3 months due to the tip credit changing, because you can go across the river and work and get tips and not get paid this enormous hourly rate. And I think that's going to be where people go. But what are your thoughts on the independent contractor model as opposed to like the just being an employee?
So I can understand why it's difficult, because as an employee, you're allowed to be required to show up for certain shifts. You're allowed to be scheduled, whereas as an independent contractor, they can't really enforce those. They can't require you to be there at a certain time, etc. They can only really incentivize it. I just heard girls talking about what happened in California after that happened and how miserable it became as a dancer.
Yeah.
The long checkout times, the clubs taking all their tips, and just overall making a lot less or just a lot less than they were used to or what they used to make. So I think my club does a very careful job of not enforcing anything that they can't legally enforce.
Yeah.
And I noticed that is something that I'm sure that has to do with lawsuits that had happened in the past. But when you're a small club, like the clubs that I used to work at in Portland, for example, you can't have no dancers at your club because your club will go away.
Yeah.
And you can't have 25 of them when your dressing room or the club only can really hold a few. So there is a lot of, trust that's happening in certain places where they're just kind of hoping that I can see why it's challenging is more kind of what I'm saying. I personally, just because of what I've heard from California, like I said earlier before we were filming, like I love the idea of people who aren't making most of their money via tips getting a livable wage. Like I want people to get paid for their work.
Yes.
Strippers make pretty good money typically and don't necessarily need the whatever an hour.
Yeah, no, definitely. I understand.
And if it means that they're going to lose 75% of their VIPs in order to get an hourly wage because the club needs to make up for all that money that they're now paying out that they weren't before, I feel like
that's where the destructive part happens.
Yeah.
Because then we're at that on my side of it, we're trying to make up that difference, and when it changes, let's say that employee was getting paid $5 an hour 6 months ago, now they're getting paid $12 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
Your payroll it's not just doubled, it's almost tripled.
Yeah.
And it's only going to get worse.
Mm-hmm.
And you can only squeeze your guests so much, you can only squeeze your clients in the VIP room so much, your dancers so much.
Yeah.
To the point where, where do we get a happy medium?
Yeah. And I guess it's interesting because the perspective of like, who do I work for? Because who I'm working for is who I'm talking to in that moment. And how well I do that night is going to have a lot to do with how much effort I put forth and how many people I talk to and if I'm in a good enough mood and if we hit it off well. And, for that hour I spend with a certain client, like that's who I'm working for, whatever you want to say. And that's where I'm earning my money from directly. And I like the idea of like, I earn my money and I keep my money. And like I tip out accordingly and because I wonder how that changes the rapport or like the there's just the overall feeling from people at work where it's like, well, I could just kind of screw around my phone and still make my hourly and I'm not going to make a whole lot of tips and I'm probably not going to do VIP, whatever. They're still motivated, but maybe there's less motivation to like kind of get up and do it.
Well, tell me, because you said something earlier that struck me, which was interesting. What's your feel when you say just sitting around collecting that hourly? What's your feelings on dancers that just kill time and abuse their clients or abuse the guests of the club?
I hate it.
And then we're going to get back to some autumn night stuff.
Yeah, no.
But I just thought this was interesting because I like your perspective on a lot of it.
Yeah, no, I feel pretty passionate about it. I feel like we do a legal, we provide a legal service that we should care about doing a good job at. Like, I genuinely want to make my customers happy and feel like their time and their money was well spent. I hate the idea of people coming in and feeling taken for granted, taken advantage of, lied to, stolen from, manipulated. Like, you don't want to go to a mechanic and have him lie to you because you don't know what you're talking about. And the same goes for our service. Like, I don't like the way dancers treat clients like they can just take them for everything they possibly can and like they're disposable.
Now, do you feel as though, do you ever have like a limit? Let's say you're in a room with a guest and you know that just based on your conversations with them or while you're dancing for them or entertaining them, that maybe this person doesn't have a tremendous amount of money or an endless bankroll. And do you say to yourself, maybe I can squeeze one more hour out of him? Or do you say to yourself, you know what, I'm just going to take the 2 hours and I'm going to get in touch with him and hopefully in 2 weeks he comes and sees me again?
Yeah.
Do you feel that that's not what we're doing mostly? Like most people are just saying, I'm just going to squeeze him and squeeze him and squeeze him until he walks out of here and doesn't know what happened.
I think similarly to how some clients bring their trauma into the strip clubs and take it out on the strippers do the exact same thing. And
yes.
They bring their trauma and they bring their hatred for men into the club and they go, I've been treated poorly and I'm gonna get mine. And you know, they don't. I think that one of the big differences, like when I'm talking to fellow dancers, is I actually care. I care about people, and not all
of
these.
Why do you care, though?
Why do I care?
Yeah.
I don't know. I just like.
Is it just in your nature?
It's kind of in my nature, I think, and I'm a very empathetic person, and so if somebody comes in there going, I just saved up to get a lap dance from you.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm going to give you a good ass lap dance.
Yeah,
Like,
we hear that sometimes.
Yeah.
And
I have had people say that. Like, I am literally pinching pennies so I can afford to have this experience with you. And that's special to me.
That is pretty special. I think it is.
Yeah, it's sweet. And, you know, I think that, you know, we make people happy. We entertain people. Some people, this is the only kind of contact like this that they can get. Because it's the only thing they have access to. It's because maybe they're a little odd and maybe society isn't very welcoming to them. And this is like their time with women that they get to have, and I want him to have a nice time.
Well, that brings me to another good question, because I mean, I think I've discussed it before with people. So, do you think that the advent of social media and everything going on today, does that press people to not come to the clubs anymore? Or do you think that maybe we're turning that corner where social media is starting to make people say, you know what, I need to have some interaction with a normal person, like a real person?
I hope that that's where we go. My theory right now is that the pandemic taught people how to stay home, and they never really, a lot of people just got comfortable there.
Yeah, I'm waiting for those people to pass on. Those are the ones still wearing the mask in the car all by themselves.
I really, you know, in the 4 years of working in Dallas, yes, in the car by themselves.
I just look at them and I
pulling it down
can hear
to take a
myself
puff
in
of
my
their
own
cigarette.
car. Yeah, I hear myself in my car thinking, "You fucking moron!" Like I just can't take it.
Oh, Portland was intense, man. There was people calling each other out on Facebook, like, "How dare you go for a walk outside by yourself without a mask? You horrible, horrible person." Yeah, and I was just like, "I gotta go."
Yeah,
it's a little too much.
But yeah, I think what you're saying. I hope that we're turning that corner. And like you, I feel that the dancers or the entertainers, no matter what kind of club you're in, I think when you see people that you know, not that they're incapable of having that experience, it's just they're not having that experience outside of this. I love when you see them come in and they're meek or mild, they're quiet, they're reserved, they don't know what to do. And one of our entertainers goes and talks to them, and all of a sudden you can see their face just light up because somebody, whether it's false or not, it might not be false. I mean, some entertainers love entertaining people.
It's a fantasy, and that's okay.
That's okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Just let it go.
The people who are so stuck in, oh, you're only talking to me because I'm paying you, are the ones that are going to have a bad time.
That's right.
Just enjoy it.
Both of us have
you
to
get to
dive
you get
in.
to it. You now you have access to me at all.
Yeah.
Like, let's not, you know, be so sad about the parts of it that, yes, no, you wish you could have met me somewhere else, but we probably wouldn't have. So here we are.
Now, when you go home and you have that experience, do you recall it and just be like, damn, that guy had like a great time with me tonight? Like that was awkward, but it was cool.
I mean, I don't know if
or is
I
it momentary?
I think it's pretty momentary. Like,
Yeah.
I like to do my job with a lot of integrity, a lot of morality.
Yeah.
I like to be in the moment with the people that I spend time with. I'm hoping that they're having a good time. And not everybody's always super polite. Not everybody's respectful. But I always come to it with that respect in mind. And I hope that that's what I'm going to receive. And in order to be successful, I think, and have mental health in this, I have to let it all go. I have to really be good at being a duck and letting it roll off. And whether it's a good experience or a bad, like in the moment, I'll really enjoy, making someone happy. And if I feel like they're like, if they leave like, okay, that was really fun. Thanks for doing that. Maybe I'll see you again. I'm like, yay.
Yeah.
Good.
That's good. So tell me, I had something I was going to ask you about in those terms. What's your favorite client as an entertainer? And what's your favorite client as a dancer, entertainer? Like when you're in a room, like what's the go-to where you're most comfortable and you feel like you're going to perform for them? Like some people, you get in a room or you'll be on stage and you're kind of like doing your stage work and it's kind of running through the process. Is there somebody in the crowd that gets you where you're like, oh, you know what, I'm going to do this move because I just know they're going to like it? Or do you stick to your stage work?
No, I try to feed off of people. It really helps when you have people in the audience that are paying attention to you and engaging with you. And like that's one thing I do miss about working in a club that has like a rack situation. Like in Portland, there was a little bit more of like there's chairs at the stage. I really enjoy that direct, like, and I'm entertaining you right now, just you. Whereas some places have stages that are a little more withdrawn. The Lodge is one of them. It's the tables are set back and it's nice. It's a beautiful stage. It's a beautiful club. But I do have that distance and I'm kind of performing to the void a little bit more than performing to people directly.
What's funny, because I was going to ask you, I have some stools. And I mean, in Pittsburgh, we had a tip rail. And you've probably been to my old club, which is the Rick's in Pittsburgh.
Rick's in Pittsburgh. I've only been featuring for about a year and a half. So there's a good amount of clubs I haven't been at yet.
I like the tip rail myself because, like you said, it gives people that very right now experience. Like they're right there with you. With your permission tonight, I have these small white stools. I was going to put 4 of them in front of the stage when you perform to see if we could just get people to sit there.
The only thing I'm afraid of would be kicking.
That's what I was going to ask you. I'll pull them back, but I wanted to ask you what your thoughts were.
Yeah, I mean...
Because I see the way you perform, and I thought it might be interesting for somebody just to sit in front of you and watch you at this angle and see you, and it just gives them a different angle because no one in DC has that. I mean, I can't even do it because we're so limited in space. But I thought we'd give it one shot and see, and if not...
I'm always down to try stuff.
Oh, we'll just kick some people.
Right. Like we'll give them a little warning paper with like sit here at your own risk, like you're in the splash zone, but the splash zone is like, will you have all your teeth after this is over?
That's right. So here, I know that you have. Let's talk about I went to your website. Your website's pretty cool. It has a lot of different tools on there to find you, as well as. My favorite was the spoil me part. I went through that where it was the make me smile. There was the Cash App, the Amazon wish list, and then the Venmo. I was like, those are great. Do those tools work? And how do you create that space for people? Like do you feel like, what's the word I don't want to use a really bad term because I know if I say it, people will be like, oh, that's a horrible term.
The last thing I want to be is somebody who's like nagging for money on social media. Like, oh, just, it's like on my birthday, I'll have tips come through. People will be like, here's a coffee, here's lunch on me.
That's what I was wondering.
Really
it's
sweet.
Just nice stuff.
Yeah. But it's never like, guys, my cat's dying and, oh, now my car's broken down and now I have this, I'm not like constantly like creating some kind of issue.
Do you have to have a narrative behind it or is it just really as I see it right there? If you want to Cash App me something, please do.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you feel like it. And then, I'll have people find my Amazon wish list and there's a guy right now who's having a heyday. They're just like having so much fun sending me all kinds of things. Are you cautious
what you put on your wish list or are you just like, fuck it, I'm going to put this on there?
I am not cautious. No. I mean, he's primarily buying me sex toys. It's Cam Girl fan.
God,
he likes to be get a shout out. So thank you, Cam Girl fan, for all the presents. I'm, been getting
I'm always
spoiled
wondering that. Like when you're on there and you're like, because I know somebody when they do like their wish list, for their wedding registry and stuff, they're like, should we put that on there? And I'm like, Yeah, put it on there.
Yeah.
You never know. Somebody might say yes.
Yeah.
If
Oh,
you don't
yeah,
have
right.
it on there, they can't
you
say
never,
yes. They
right,
can't say
exactly.
no
Yes,
either.
there is a $500 Vitamix on my wish list. I haven't gotten it yet. It's been sitting there for a couple years, but
Hey, it's
you
out
never
there
know.
now. Now
The
we're talking
people,
about it.
they want to buy things for you that they're going to get to enjoy too, right? It's like it's a
Yeah.
sex toy or it's a sexy outfit, it's lingerie. They're a little bit more likely to be like, oh, send me a video with this, send me pictures with this. Then they get a present and I get a present.
I was going to ask you. Oh, now I'm getting told to move over. I'm not sitting close enough. So I like those. And then I looked at just your other pages to find you, the different social media. You have your OnlyFans, which I looked at. You have your free OnlyFans. Now, I imagine you have a pay for material OnlyFans.
Yes. Yeah, my free OnlyFans is going to be more risque than Instagram, but not as risque as my VIP. But there's a bunch of stuff you can unlock on there.
Now, what's your definition of risque from the Instagram to that?
Well, so Instagram's trying to shadow ban me all the time, so I have to be pretty tame on Instagram, and I'm kind of moving directions into more like. I used to be on there very much like, hi, I'm a sexy girl. You should go find my OnlyFans. Yeah. And now I'm just like, I'm just going to be silly and whatever. And
it seems like that's where Instagram wants to be.
Yeah, like I'm going to try and make people laugh if I can figure out how, I want to be a little more comical, a little like just not take myself too seriously.
Yeah.
And then my free OnlyFans is basically more of those like thirst trappy kind of like, you're going to like, bathing suits, thongs, underwear, whatever. Stuff that I can't.
Like full vagina. It's
not on my free one.
Okay.
On my VIP, then there's like full nudity.
Okay, so that's full nudity. And then when you get to your, do you have another level? Is there sexual material as well?
There's sexual material in both.
Oh, there is. Okay.
So they're pay-per-view.
So they're okay.
So depending on the level, it's going to be cheaper on my VIP, and it's going to be released first. My customs I'm going to be more responsive is kind of the main thing, because I have a lot more people on the free one, and it's a little more dedicated on the VIP. And so in addition to like the more explicit content that you get with the monthly subscription, it's also just more attention.
So tell me, so we'll get into two things. And then if you don't want to talk about them, that's fine. But obviously fans will want to know. So the sexual material, does it happen with one particular person? Does it happen with multiple people? Or or are they not seen? It's just you.
There's like a choose your own adventure. So I do have quite a bit of material that's just me and toys.
Okay.
I have like a fuck machine. I have but I have a lot of toys. But then I do also have
now,
boy
do you have
girl.
the pro one that's like sitting on the floor like a.
Oh, the Sibian,
like
the big
cannon.
I do not have a sex cannon. I like that. But it's on my wish list. If anybody wants to buy me a sex cannon.
A friend of mine lent that to my husband and I, and we brought it home, and I was like, what are we going to do with that? And it was a lot of sunshine. And
there's an incredible amount of stuff out there.
There is.
Yeah.
And then when I saw somebody can operate it remotely.
Yes, I'm learning all about that too, especially with my Chatterbait camming. There's all these toys that you can, people can they can like literally tip to play, and so that'll like make the things. And that's one of the things I do want is one of those. Is it the Lovins brand? I think. Where and like the fuck machine.
I will let you know what this one was at the house, because it was. I mean, obviously we had it for like a month, and it was in the dining room.
Did you have a good experience?
Yeah, because the sunlight came in from that window.
Yeah.
And so there was always some good video that we could get. And my husband has an OnlyFans. Well, not an OnlyFans, but he's got a Twitter.
Okay.
Yeah,
no
he had an
OnlyFans.
OnlyFans.
Okay.
And we kind of nixed that because he's in the military. So we were like, okay, let's slow down on that.
So you're a mattress actress too.
Sometimes. No.
Okay.
But yeah, I was intrigued by the whole thing because I always thought of them as kind of crazy. Like, why would you want that thing?
Mm-hmm.
And then once I saw like just all the interesting things about it, and then a friend of mine said, well, I can operate it remotely. I said, get the fuck out of here. You're definitely not having access to that. So, but those, so you have those videos, and then you have sex videos. What gets you the most play or the most money? The people watching. What are people wanting to see from you?
It's totally different. I mean,
really?
Yeah. I mean, there's a good variety of different. I mean, I'm starting to get more into the foot fetish people, but there's the people that want like there's the people who like want sex, but they're like, I don't want to see some guy's dick. that's gay. Like,
yeah. Too bad there's so much
so
porn
funny
with
to
dicks
me.
in them.
Right. It's kind of
a little hard to get away from.
I mean, yeah, like that's what. Yeah, it's like that's the heterosexual sex.
It's when all
there's
the
a dick
lesbians
involved,
get mad at me
and
when I'm
there's
like,
you
still like to watch penetration videos, don't you?
Yeah.
Lesbians are like, what? They get angry with me. I'm like, no, but you do.
Yeah, but like straight people watch gay porn. This is the
that's
thing.
What I said.
We like sex. There's all kinds of varieties. There's nothing wrong with it. Nothing to be ashamed of. And then there's like the POV where it's like, let's pretend it's your dick. Like, you know. Yeah.
Now, have you gotten into any of that? Have you gotten into any of the the VR stuff?
No.
Or have you tried it or looked at it?
I have looked at it. It's pretty cool.
It's wild.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
I've been on both ends of it. I was, we've been playing, friends of mine have them, and then we were playing with it for a while, trying to develop something.
Not like that. Just
not him and I together.
It'd be hot.
Research.
Come on, Shane. It's research.
Think about it.
Yeah. And the fuck machine with a remote control.
Yeah. Download that app, baby.
But yeah,
yeah, it's pretty fun. I think it's kind of fun too as a woman to be like, ooh, I have a penis. Like,
yeah. It was very strange because I wasn't sure, and it was throwing me off a little bit. But I thought, what a great experience. I just wish people made content that made more sense. That like it's still in that like little boy phase. Like it's just
what do you mean?
Like giggly kind of stuff, like weird, like, you know, watch them blow you and stuff. And it's like, I'd rather watch some like really crazy stuff, like orgy kind of stuff.
Giggly stuff. You're just like, oh, this tame nonsense.
Yeah, like
stop gobbling this knob and do something cool.
There you go. Yeah, I just want something kind of wild, like where like you would be afraid to do this.
Or like, or fantastical, like I want to be in space and everybody's got tentacles everywhere.
Yeah,
because
like weird shit.
It's, because it can be anything.
I like her.
One of my gifts that I just got sent from my Amazon wish list is just like various tentacle dildos.
Oh, yeah,
and it's Halloween and I like to dress up, and I have this video editor that has a lot of fun editing my videos, and he will do all these special effects. Like I have this one guy on OnlyFans that orders customs where I'm doing, like, he specifically asked me to do my witch feature. Okay. And like my editor added all these fun effects of like, now the potion is this, and like there's magic flowing through the air. And so I kind of want to dress up as like a Martian and have like my blue wig and some silly makeup and some like, you know, fun shiny unitard, and just like have some kind of like, oh no, there's just like so many dicks everywhere, and they're just like tentacle dicks like stuck to the wall because they're all suction cup. So I just want to be like, so
when we do our first VR, can we invite you over to start filming it?
Yeah. Wait, what are those? What was that I saw recently? It was like the VR strip clubs, or it was virtual reality, and she had all the things all over her body, to the sensors, and she was like doing the stripper moves to get it transitioned or crossed over into the computer.
Yeah, I think
I want to be that person.
See, all right, we're gonna set you up. You heard it.
So
Shane,
I can be
keep
like,
her in mind when we experiment.
Just imagine it's me.
That's right. No, we're calling you. You're going to be our actress for that. Now, you're when people are asking you for specific content, what's the main thing that they want from you?
I mean, lately I've really been getting a lot of asks for girl on girl.
I was going to say, is it girl on girl?
It is.
I thought it was going to be anal, because I was going to say that seems
Yes, you're right. It is. It's girl on girl and it's anal. Yeah. Which, I guess it makes sense.
Which one are you leaning towards?
I like them both.
Which one are you feeling?
I like them both. Both are great. You know, they're just more work and effort, and you know, arranging.
There's some prep work in the anal part.
And like, you know, I know, like, I kind of envy some of the girls with their OnlyFans or that are in porn that just are very free with it. They're just like, yes, let's fuck. Like, cool, because you kind of have to be. It's like, nice to meet you, we're having sex now. And you know, part of the reason I need to have an OnlyFans is because I have to be in control of what I'm doing. I have to be in the right mood. But I have to kind of have a connection with someone. And so I did have a girl on girl video with someone that I had dated, and she used to have an OnlyFans, and she actually got a job in the corporate world and had to remove everything, and so I can no longer tag her, which means I can no longer have that video up.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, ooh, why am I so shy? And I have I have some other collaborators that I'm intending to work with in the near future, but there's just I get shy.
Yeah. So do you feel that all the other social media that you use, I mean, whether we like it or not, those are all tools to get people to your OnlyFans?
It's the only reason I'm doing it.
Okay.
Yeah. And it's partly because I want to be in the club fewer hours. If I could feature and, house dance less, I love my home club for sure. But part of it is, just kind of wanting to phase in a different direction. I'm getting a little tired of the hours. I'd love to be getting up earlier, going to bed earlier, know.
Sure.
And then my real dream is to be a traveling content creator, because I love traveling. I want to see the world, and I want to take people with me. And so I would be going live in all these different countries, and then I'd be going back to my nice Airbnb or my hotel or whatever, and then I can do my streaming, do my OnlyFans content.
Let's do a road trip with Autumn Nights.
Okay. Yes.
Hotel to hotel.
Yeah. I just I love the
Filming
idea
content.
of I was well, if you're going to be watching content anyway, it'd be kind of cool if it was in different countries. And of course I can't do pornographic stuff in the streets of Vienna or whatever, but I can do it in a nice cute hotel, and I can make other content and take other pictures that are more tame. So yes, the whole reason I'm on social media is to drive content to my OnlyFans, to try and build that up, which it is really hard.
Yeah, I know.
It's oversaturated. There are so many people wanting to do it, and I completely get it.
Do you feel like your name is getting out there? I mean, even though you've been in the industry a while, I was looking at your numbers. Do you think that you've gained some momentum? And what's really getting you there? What's the driver?
I mean, you have to have help.
Yeah.
Really, I can't do it by myself, and partly because I have a huge aversion to social media in general. I'm not one of those girls that's really comfortable and happy being in front of a screen all the time. Part of the whole thing is I want more freedom, not to be more tethered to this, because I don't want to be on my phone all the time. I think often about how bad for our mental health social media is, and part of me kind of feels bad contributing to that and being I'm a content creator, be on your phone watching me so I can make money not being on my phone ideally.
That's it, yeah.
But I have help. I have people that help. I have a friend that helps me post to different platforms so that I don't have to be posting multiple times a day to 6 different places.
Yeah.
And then I can focus more of my time on making quality content and chatting with people.
So when you're on social media, do you find yourself looking at, I don't want to say competitors, but do you find yourself looking at peers a lot to
all
see?
the time?
Yeah.
And I'm jealous. Why
Are
do
you
they have
jealous,
so many
judgy,
views?
or you...
Why judgy? I don't know about judgy. I think that's one of the nice things. I feel there's something about this industry that self-selects people, where it's I don't care what people think. You kind of can't.
Yeah.
You can't care what people think and be here's my pornography.
Yeah.
Of course I still get a little shy and self-conscious about things, but you kind of have to be fuck it, here we go.
Yeah.
And I admire that in other people. And so when people are doing their thing, it's more, what I'm jealous about is the algorithm. I'm mad that she gets to have 17,000 views on her butt being out, and I'm not allowed to have my butt out. I wish I could also have my butt out to an extent. Children are on there, and I want to be respectful to that. But yeah, that's kind of that kind of thing where it's you can feel you're beating your head against the wall and post, and you're looking at your views, and you're looking at the stats and the insights and how much of it is because they want you to pay them to boost your post, and capitalism.
It is very random because I just got a notification on our page for the club.
Yeah.
That what's her name, Joanna, or it was something. It was one of the features that we had here, but it was 2 years ago.
Joanna Angel.
Yeah, and they took it down.
Really?
Now, after 2 years. And
yeah,
this,
I don't know.
this
They'll
was
change
against our
things.
guidelines
Well,
and
she's
this
a
and that.
realtor. No, I'm kidding. No, I love her. She's such a cute little thing.
You know how they do those this nurse got busted and she lost her job because she has an OnlyFans. I kind of want to make one of those fake little tabloids and just be oh no, I'm a good girl, but I'm actually bad. Just pretend. I'm trying to come up with the scenario. But yeah, it is. It's super random how they'll decide, because some people for some reason are allowed to be in their little tiny micro bikinis pole dancing and doing whatever. And I literally this much butt cheek, and it's no, I went live on my Instagram yesterday while I was bathing my dog, and I had a white tank top on and I had some shorts on, and it told me that I was violating guidelines, probably because it wasn't even see-through. It was like my nipples were protruding.
It's probably because
they had texture. They exist. Sorry, my nipples exist.
Ridiculous conservative housewife sitting at home.
Well, that's people do theorize. They're like, maybe
shit.
you have someone hating on you and reporting you, because it's either the algorithm catching my whatever skin, or it's somebody hates me.
I always have to say it's some crazy woman who's conservative and has nothing to do other than to be an asshole.
I know, and that's so sad. The trolls, where it's just like, oh, I just feel sad for you. Really, that's all I have.
Because I equate that in everything. Even when I see stuff like on gay stuff, but even here in DC, like there was just recently they had a gay bar closed down, another bar opened, and they put a donkey and an elephant on, and it was supposed to be this
like political bar?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah,
what a concept.
Yeah, and it's like a new thing, and gay people were outraged. They were like, oh, it's offensive that they have the Republican elephant on there. I'm like, they have a donkey on there too. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But it's just people have this inherent thing in them right now that everything just fucking upsets them, and they have to like voice it.
Yes.
And I'm like, you know what? Just don't look at it.
Right.
Really
I wish
simple.
there was a little more of that.
And when you get the complaint, just pick up the phone and be like, lady, get a life.
Yeah.
Our guy, what do you want?
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Go have a drink somewhere else.
People are just, they want to be outraged. Yeah. And there's a lot of things to be outraged about, but people they really are looking for, things to be mad about. And I think that we should be looking for things to be happy about.
I try to.
Like strippers.
Well, tell me this. On that note, then, what really pisses you off, though, in the industry? Like, what, is it vulgarity? Is it abusiveness around the club scenes? Is it how commonplace we've made the clubs, where it's like Walmart now, that most of the clubs are these big giant chains, and all of them are run the same way, look the same, act the same feature concepts? Is it?
Gosh, what?
Or do you not like small clubs? Or
no, I like all of it. Obviously, I like to perform for a large. Right? Yeah, like small clubs are terrible. Yeah, no. I like the intimate environments, and I like dealing with completely different stages. It's kind of fun. Like, I'm not a creature of choreography. Everything's improvised, so I'm not coming and being like, oh, I can't do the thing that I always do. Everything, it's always different, and I like to adapt to that. Gosh, what outrages me about,
or what just pisses you off, or do certain types of people piss you off? In this industry?
Disrespectful men who don't appreciate, the fact that they get to hang out with us and spend time with us, and disrespectful women who take people for granted, and it's both sides. But I really just think that in general we need to be focusing on treating each other with more respect. Yes, it's extremely draining to dance for a person who continues to push my boundaries when I've told him no, and continues. It irritates the crap out of me.
That's when I just get vulgar and I say something really fucking nasty. Mm-hmm. Then they're like, oh my God, he's nuts.
Yeah. And what's funny is sometimes I end up in a position with these guys where they're like, in my club, touching is okay. And, the way they're touching me is so unpleasant. And I'm like, if this is the way you touch women, I wish I could tell you. I wish I could teach you. I kind of want to.
That's what I was getting at.
Let you know that what you're doing is
fuck.
really not working. And in this, the way you're pinching on my nipples is definitely not arousing. And I feel like you would benefit from this knowledge, but I'm not in a position where I'm getting paid to interact with you in this way and to be flirty and to be like, oh, your jokes are funny, whatever, to educate you. It's just this funny thing of I kind of want to help you, but I also know that maybe my job in helping you right now is to just let you have a good time.
See, maybe I don't have a career being a stripper. I would be that guy that would just say you know what, you
That confuses me too. There are so many.
Yeah.
It is straight up see through. You can see everything.
You know why? Because she looks like a child. And
right.
That's what people are into.
Oh, damn.
I'm serious.
No, it's crazy.
I know that sounds terrible.
The whole page of sheer. Right. And I was like, oh, and they even say in the guidelines that sheer is allowed.
Yeah.
Not for me, it's not.
I mean, I know
I can't
that's
even
not-
have nipples that exist.
I look at
need
that
to
all the
wear
time, and I
pasties.
see that, and I think the same thing, that they allow a lot of that content because it's not an adult woman who's a professional. That's just some girl at home on her bed rolling around, and people are like, oh, she's like
Right. It's
21.
almost like there is a connection. If you are trying to make money off of it, none for you. Like,
and that's very true.
if
and
it's
I've
just
heard
some girl
that.
being like Girls Gone Wild, then it's more okay.
Yeah.
But
'Cause they're
most of
either
these
perceived
girls
as
are
stupid
trying to
or-
lead people to their OnlyFans,
Yeah.
typically.
I'm sure
but,
that's what she has.
But yeah, I don't know. I really don't get
I
it.
have a very strong opinion on that. How do I keep
On what, pedophilia?
That too.
Thumbs down.
Yeah,
On
that's right.
pedophilia.
That's right.
Not
Thumbs
my
down.
favorite.
You're just not old enough for me.
Let's not, everyone.
No, I would never make a good stripper because I would be one of those people that would tell people, like, there's a reason why you're here with me. It's because
You have to have an
you
incredible
suck at
amount
this.
of patience. Yeah. You really
Yeah.
have to be extremely tolerant.
Yeah, I'm not that guy.
Yeah, no, and it's
I even see my dancers that sometimes, that even when I have to go tell guys, in a room, I'm like, have you noticed that every time you do that, she gets up? So why
yeah.
don't you
Well,
stop?
I wish I could explain to guys, like, the more respectful you are, the more you will get.
There.
Like, the
that's-
more
yeah.
you push, the more you try to reach into my butt crack,
Yeah.
the more I'm going to shy away from you. The more I'm going to have to protect myself. The more you nuzzle into my neck and, like, try to stick your tongue inside of my ear, the more I'm going to go like this and, like,
Yeah.
squish you out instead of be like, yes, let's have a nice time where, you
Yeah.
know, like, we're close, but you're not putting your bodily fluids on me when we met 15 minutes ago.
Yeah, no, I only do that in a dark room when I'm drunk. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, it's just, there's a time and a place, and
I
your
think
very
that-
first lap dance with somebody, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that happens a lot. And I know women cross that line too when they're in the rooms. It
Yes.
seems just like in human nature that there are some people that, I guess I'm okay with, like, vulgarity and other things. Like, if you want to go in a room and you want to talk nasty, oh yeah, that's fine. We can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to degrade me, and I'm not going to go for that.
No. I mean, there's
Um,
just certain things that, like, I'll tolerate and certain things I won't. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, do people? Do you have, like, a sex talk game in your rooms, or do you?
I'm not very good at it. To
No?
me, I've been trying to get better at it. I had
Okay.
somebody recently that was, like, trying to, like, call me this and tell me this, and
Go ahead,
it was
tell
a
us.
little
What was
more.
it?
He wanted to be degraded,
Yeah.
actually, and he and so I was just, I'm trying to play along and
Yeah.
give him what he wants, and it's good practice. Like, I like to push my boundary. I like to push not my boundaries, but, like, my challenge myself, I
Yeah,
guess,
sure.
in certain areas that it isn't harmful.
That's why I always ask, because I always think that's interesting when I talk to a lot of women in the industry, and I know a lot of people like race play, or they like vocal play, or they like degradation, or they like to be insulted, or they like what's the word? Submissive, or
Yes,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, and I'm still trying to understand because everyone's so unique and different in the kind of submissive.
Yeah.
Like, it's all about
Like, how deep do you
controlling
wanna
me, or
go?
it's all about making me feel like shit. It's all about telling me what a tiny penis I have. I had a whole custom on OnlyFans of somebody who just wanted me to talk about and laugh at him and tell him, yeah, nobody could ever be satisfied with that penis, and of course she left you, and of course you're a piece of shit. Like, and then there's other people who, like,
Shane, did you really call her?
and then there's the guys who, like, he's like, I want you to choke me, and I'm like, like leaning, pushing my elbow into his throat, or like kind of like I'm also trying to be safe, and I'm like
That's
trying
when
to
you just channel that bad day.
he
You're
wants
like-
to be choked and also told what a piece of shit he is. Right. Yeah. Ugh, that sounds dangerous. I don't know. I'm just not a very
Let me
angry
think back to
person, to be
Wednesday when I
honest.
was really pissed off.
Yeah, I don't lose my, like, when people are like, I want you to smack me, I'm like, all right, do my best. Okay.
Well, I think that's the beauty of a lot of you women that work in this industry, that a lot of you, which everyone that watches these or watches you guys on videos, they think, oh, these women are for everything. They'll go for it all. When it really comes down to it, you guys are very shy. You're very normal, very quiet.
Very demure,
Reserved.
very mindful.
Yeah. Like, I bet you take your clothes off and you dance and
Yeah. I mean, there's a huge
but
variety.
all of us have our range.
Yes.
And like me, I could never get on the stage naked and dance around.
Mm-hmm.
But in a room, I can be all those things if you want me to be.
Yeah.
I can be that asshole. I can choke you. I'll
Yeah.
kick your
You
balls
get
up.
more. You feel better with like that one-on-one.
I'm in more control.
And yeah.
On stage, I would feel lost.
Too vulnerable or exposed,
Yeah,
maybe,
I would feel
instead
lost.
of like in charge. Sure. Okay.
Yeah, because I tell people this story all the time. I can give speeches, like at the award show. I can get up, ad lib right there, no problem. But if you call me on a stage for my birthday and bring a cake up, I'm in fucking pieces. Like, I cannot do it.
I'm the same way with
Like,
cameras.
yeah, I can't.
I can tell you, I can make you feel comfortable as hell in front of the camera, tell you what to do, direct you, everything. But as soon as I step in front of the camera, I'm like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just happens. So
Yeah.
I always know, like, that's why all the features I know or all the dancers I know that get up, I always think, that is a hard fucking day at work every day.
Well,
that
and
you
some
get up on that stage.
people assume I don't get nervous. I'm always nervous. I was nervous for this.
Now,
I'm
what
nervous
makes you
every time I
nervous? Do you
perform.
think people are looking at your breasts and saying like, "Oh, her breasts aren't great," or those look fake, or her vagina's too little?
You know,
or
it's
too,
but
her ass is too
it's.
small.
I mean, there is some of that. There's like the body stuff, but it's like it's been. I mean, I did drama in high school. I was nervous then.
Yeah.
Nervous I'm gonna mess up. Nervous I'm gonna look like an idiot, do a bad job. As an aerialist in family-friendly shows, it doesn't have anything to do with necessarily being naked. Like as a performer, as an entertainer, as just getting in front of an audience, getting in front of a camera, I'm nervous. Going live, going on Chatter, it's all nerve-wracking to me.
Oh, so that's a good thing. What about Chatterbait? So when you go on Chatterbait, and I talk about Chatterbait a lot because sometimes it's all over the place for me when I look at it.
What do you mean by that?
Like at one time I had a big thing. I got back from the AVNs one year, and Chatterbait at the adult video.
Oh,
Awards.
okay, yes. Mm-hmm.
And I was there, and generally, you see all the features and the porn stars, and just it was all high level, high end. Everything's
the most
airbrushed.
famous people in the industry,
Yeah, everything
the
looks
most beautiful,
polished.
Yeah.
And then I went to the Chatterbait, and like this other kind of clips for free or clip something.
Okay, yeah. Uh-huh.
And there were like guys in diapers and people on chains and heavy
and it's
set
like,
girls with
like
nipples painted purple.
The
and I was like,
grainiest, most low quality, crappy lighting in a creepy room where you're like, whose basement are you in? I'm worried about you.
Exactly. And I looked at it and I was like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, there's some crazy stuff on there.
Yeah, but
there's some.
And I'm not downgrading it. I don't want that to be the message from me. That I'm not downgrading because everybody has their thing, and I get that. I am all for that.
Yeah, you're not yucking the yum.
But when I looked at it, and I looked at all the rest of the stuff going on, and then that was there, and it was kind of like, did somebody just drop this in here? Because it just doesn't fit.
There's amazingly some audience for everyone.
Well, and then one of the porn stars, and I think it was Lauren Phillips, we had this discussion, and she said, we're all there just to enjoy ourselves, and people are enjoying them too. And I was like, you can't shame them. It's not my thing. Do I like guys walking around in diapers and circus dresses with like a dog and some chick with purple nipples? No, but somebody does.
Yeah.
So, and somebody's loving it. Somebody's paying that person to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're on Chatterbait, I guess what I'm really getting at, their customer base, what's that base like really? Like when people are on there, do they match what I saw? Like, is that
what kind of people am I experiencing?
Yeah.
I'm still getting started with it. I'm still fairly new. I'm trying to build up a bigger following. My angle is going to be more of like the kinds of girls that I see on there that I really like is very high quality, like beautiful lighting, beautiful setup, nice camera. That's what I'm working towards, and like slowly building up to. And they're wearing gorgeous lingerie, and a lot of the times they're just like kind of dancing around, making beautiful shapes, running an ice cube down their chest, like, and they're building up to their goals.
What do they charge? Not what do you get out of it money wise, but what's the charge for that? Like, let's say I want to do 15 minutes with you on Chatterbait.
I have never done a private room. I'm more looking to do the masses because Chatterbait is free. So when you're on there, the only money you get is when people tip you. So
that's it.
There's no
So they can't.
You
do
can
any kind
do
of
private. Yes,
oh,
they
you
do.
Can.
Yeah, and you can charge whatever you want.
Oh, okay. So that's okay.
Yeah.
And what's the take on that? What does Chatterbait take?
I don't know.
We're getting there.
I don't know. It would be
Next
easy to
time we
find
talk.
out, but it's in tokens, and there's they
seen
like
that.
to do the whole conversion thing to make it difficult to tell how much you're
Yeah.
paying, and it's it's like, and it can be hard to know where you're like, oh, thank you for your tip. Wait, that was a quarter. Like,
How much did I pay that guy to be in a clown suit?
yeah, right. So it's kind of up to them how much they value it. They can decide what
Yeah.
they want to tip you, and it's it's just like people are on there, and I think it's kind of like a little slot machine.
Yeah.
And they're just kind of having fun. Like, they get to click video to video to video, and it's all. And that's what's interesting to me is, like, because it is free, some of these girls really work to cultivate fans that they just hang out with. Like, here, I'm gonna paint my wall, and now I'm gonna mow my lawn, and now I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna hang out with you. Oh, I'm getting a little turned on. Oh, we're gonna have to go to a private show. You can charge everyone a ticket price to enter the room.
Yeah.
And so then everybody has to pay $10 to be in the room. If you've got 1,000 people in there, you're doing really, really good.
That's cool.
Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm more working towards. Like, I will be doing more explicit stuff on there eventually, but I'm not going to do it until there's actually an audience and like I'm getting
Yeah.
something out of it. And I'm probably going to do more of that private show thing, because there's girls that'll be on there and they'll just be literally just like getting fucked by a fuck machine for hours straight. Literally not paying attention, just hoping people are like
I was
tip,
going to say
tip,
been there,
tip.
done that, but no.
Oh, tell me about that experience. I'd like to hear more about that. It's just like, it's like lube, lube, lube.
Is the sun setting?
Yeah.
No, I always go back when this is my own mental image. When I think about Chatterbait, I think back to when I was young and I used to sneak into like this porn shop, and in the porn shop they had a dancer that was in the back in the little screen. You'd put the money in, and the screen would pop up, and you would watch her dance, and she would perform a little bit. And it was funny because the one girl that used to do it was a friend of mine.
Oh.
She was young, and the place no longer exists. But I remember the one day that we went up there, and we didn't know that she did it. We had no clue. And we went up there, and we were putting the money in, and the screen popped up, and she was laying on the little couch, and I was like, oh my God. So
Like, you didn't know you knew her until it
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Oh, how funny.
And all the friends of ours, we were just like, Jesus Christ.
Oh, man. I bet once the word spread, she had lots of audience
Oh.
members.
But it was fun. But I look back at that, and that was such a great, I don't know why, I think that was like a great sexual experience for me.
Yeah.
It was just fun.
Okay, right.
Even it was
Well, and
grungy
there's,
and it was
do you think
dirty
it's
and-
kind of, there's something about the glass of the safety of, like,
Yeah, that there
we're
was
here
no-
and we're together, but we're not, and there's some separation,
Yeah,
and
there
we
was
know
no veneer. Like, nothing was like all prettied up. It was just what it was.
super real.
Yeah, there was just a
Okay.
woman that was going to masturbate in front of you, and you were going to watch, and you were going to put the tokens in. The screen was going to pop down. You put some more in.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it, I don't know. It gave me some. I don't know if I was more into the act of it all, or what was actually going on. But
So are you bisexual? Are you
no,
clearly completely all the way gay?
No, I'm kind of hard to describe. I mean, I'm gay because it's easier to where I'm at in life.
Mhm.
I've tried the other way many times. It's worked for a little bit, but then it just doesn't.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I
Um,
feel like similar. Like, I'm bisexual, more into men, but like
Yeah.
I like women too. But it's like certain
But I
ones.
love women.
And
I mean, I think women are beautiful. I
Oh,
love
for
watching
sure.
them perform. I love watching them. I like watching them naked. When I go away on vacation, and my husband would die when he hears it all the time. But I go away with friends. And we go to strip clubs, and I do private rooms with them, and I do all kinds of stuff. I mean,
Interesting.
I love it. I
Yeah.
think it's fun, but I'm also, it's an engagement, and it's
Mhm.
transactional.
Yes.
That's a transactional high for me. I look at it and I think, I'm going to pay this girl and I'm going to tell her what to do for a little half hour. And
Uh-huh.
she's-
What do
but
you
I'm
tell
not
her to
gonna
do?
Be abusive. Oh, I just, I have a good friend. Shannon. She's Club Risque in Philadelphia. We were in Las Vegas and we played this game where we play a husband and wife. And we try to figure out if the dancer is gay. So we had this guy come up and we did the room. And she was like, there's no way he's gay. I'm like, he's gay, trust me. She's like, no way. So we get in the room. I'm like, my wife and I want to do a room with you. And we take him in the room and he's like, I'll just dance for your wife. And I'm like, that's cool. I'll just watch. I'll sit on the side and watch. And he danced for Shannon, and Shannon's kind of shy, but we play along, and we know our roles. He danced for her, and then I was like, well, would you like to do some more time with us? And he was like, sure. I'm like, but you have to dance for both of us. And yeah, I'll dance for both of you. So her and I would sit close to each other and like hold hands, and then he would dance for us. And then he was like, I just want to tell you though, I'm not going to do anything with you. I'm like, we're not asking you to do anything with us, like sexually. And then the time would end, and I would say, Shannon, do you want to get somebody else, or do you want to stick with him? And oh no, I like this guy. I was like, all right, well, you're going to have to take your bottoms off this time. And bottoms are off.
Yeah.
And Shannon's like, I cannot believe you.
Yeah, like
because I'll just ask.
You're just kind of having fun, like seeing where the boundaries are.
Yeah, where his boundaries are, and I'm not going to push anything. I'm not going to be vulgar.
Because you don't know if he cares or not.
Yeah. So here, we got him fully naked finally, and then we had him in there, and then Shannon was like, I want you to dance for my husband, like dance on him. And he was like, okay. Yeah. So then he was dancing on me, and she was like sitting here. I could tell she was just dying. And finally, when we were done, we both we left, we got out of the room, and he was out, and he was like, well, if you want to spend some more time with me, let me know. And I was like, well, we might. I'm like, but I have a question. Are you gay? And he was like, oh, yeah. He's like, but we're not supposed to tell people. I'm like...
What club was this at?
I can't say.
Okay. LeBaire.
So it was when Hustler had men upstairs on the top floor.
Oh, in Vegas.
Yes.
Okay. I was so sad that I missed that.
I know.
Because that was like, I always loved that. I always wanted a co-ed club.
And then we did it. And then we asked him later, and we were like, do you want to do another like half hour with us? And he was like, yeah, let's go. And then we just literally had fun. Like that, because the game was over. Like
let the walls come down a little bit. Which, I mean,
and
you guys would be like the perfect people to have. Like
we just all
great
laughed
clients.
together. He was like sitting on our, like laid across us.
Right, yeah. Like why be all uptight about it? Is he worried you're going to report him? Is that kind of what's going on?
Who knows? But like I said,
he has to play the game.
The game was fun. We had a great time. Shannon plays along really well. And we laugh. And here, I'll show you the downstairs. During the pandemic, we started another club called Zoo. And it was like a sex-positive club with men and women. We had a transgender dancer down there. I
love that.
You name it. It was going on. Because the pandemic really shrunk us. Yeah. And I had to do something. And by midpoint, it had contained 30% of our income. Which was great for no advertising, really, just through my gay friends and through the community in DC. It was just hungry for it. And Shane did all of our camera work for it, and we did these, I'd like to say they were very interesting videos. We did like a walkthrough. Shane, you might be able to describe it better, but we did a walkthrough with guys and women up here in the VIP waiting at the doors. And you kind of did like a midsection walkthrough, and people were like, whoring it up like the old times, like, come see me.
Yeah.
And then he pans into a room, and there's two guys and one girl, and they're just making out heavily on the couch. And that was where we had panned out, like, and the curtain closed. That garnered so much attention in the city. Yeah. That I think people are just hungry for it. Yeah. They want some freedom.
Yes, and I think that like this old like heteronormative nonsense and this like shame and like homophobia is tired. And like yes, there's lots of people that are into it, but there's a lot more fluidity in people's sexuality, and that's getting people are expressing that more comfortably over the past few years. And yeah, like the more that there's like I feel like people are given permission. Oh, there's more people like me. I'm not weird for feeling that, and like one of the biggest complaints I hear bisexual people talk about is they're constantly being told that they don't exist.
Oh, I know that.
Pick one. Get, you either like one or you like the other. And like they get so tired of being like, that's not true,
I wish I could claim being bisexual, because then I would just be fucking crazy.
Bisexual people are just so horny, right? That's that's like the accusation. Or like I've had this one girl
I'd be the same level of horny, just everybody would be
right
available.
But it's okay to call it pansexual. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that's you're asking the wrong gay guy. 'Cause I am so bad with pronouns and.
Are you? I mean, I'm from Portland, so I have a ton of super queer friends, like gender fluid, non-binary, trans.
I just view it as you like vaginas, or you like dicks, or you like both.
Yeah. Well, right. I mean, you don't even know who has what, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's a lot of surprises.
and that's exactly somebody's type. I do not know what you are, and I
might
like
be
that
fun.
about you. It's like a little, what are those little mystery surprise bags
Yeah.
you'd get? Like, oh, what's in here? Like, undo the pants. Surprise!
Yeah, and I love seeing people that I've known being very comfortable after the fact. That, like, we had guests that are our regulars downstairs that are definitely here with women all the time. That they brought a guy and a girl on dog leashes to the club downstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And when they walked down the steps, we were like, and I shouldn't even have been shocked.
Right.
But even me, I gave that face of like, wow. And then I thought, no, rein it in. Just act like he's normal.
Yeah.
And he was like,
You're funny.
I'm so glad that I just got to come down here and just be me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there should be more places like that.
And there isn't. I mean, there's
gonna change
some
that.
sex clubs. Yes, there are some sex clubs, but even like in Dallas, I don't think they're very free. In Portland, there's a lot more of that, like, inclusivity of all the different kinks and everything. That's something I really like about strip clubs, is I feel like it's a little baby stepping stone to openness. And it's like, oh, we're thinking we kind of want a threesome, but I want to see how it feels to watch my husband get danced on by another person.
Yeah.
Or I want to get some girl on girl action with my wife and the stripper in a safe environment that isn't necessarily going to lead to anything else.
I agree with you.
And
on
like that transactionality, what am I trying to say, is transactional relationship is safe and is helpful in making people feel comfortable. But I agree with you. There just needs to be more. I mean, that's just my view overall on life in general, is kind of, I feel very like YOLO, and I kind of want everybody else to just be like, do you, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. I would love for people to be less concerned with being upset about what someone else is doing and just be more concerned about living their own authentic truth.
Yeah, I always tell people this. My most comfortable place to be sexually, even when I was young, was to be inside a strip club. Because it always seemed to me that nobody was judging me. Nobody was trying to figure out what my deal was. Nobody gave two fucks what my deal was. It was like, oh, you're here watching naked women.
Yeah.
We all like it.
Yeah.
And I would take gay friends there, and a lot of my gay friends would look at it and be like, oh my God, like how many more women have we got? But a lot of my gay friends were like, God, she's beautiful. Like,
right. And like, how many of them are doing that because they're like, oh, I'm not supposed to like this. And it's like, you don't have to like it for these reasons. You can like it for these other reasons. Yeah, right. It's like, I'm
really
way too gay for this. It's like, nobody's too gay for this.
No, exactly.
There's a person performing for you. It's cool.
Yeah. And even today, I tell people the safest club you can be in, whether if you're a wife sitting at home and you think, oh, my husband's at a strip club, you should be glad, because it's the safest place that he can be.
Yeah.
That you know
honestly. Yeah. It's like,
if I'm there,
it's much harder to pick a girl up at a strip club than at a regular bar.
That's right. Yeah. So I always look at it that way. That I see transvestites that come into strip clubs. Nobody bothers them. Nobody says a word to them. They sit at the stage. They watch women dance. I see gay guys. I see lesbians. I see people of color, Indian. Everyone. Everyone comes here.
Yeah.
And there's not one person looking at them or saying something or acting as though they don't belong here.
Yeah.
Everybody belongs here.
Yeah.
We're all having a good time.
I agree. And I like that about strip clubs also.
So on that note, I have one last thing to ask you. What's your next goal as far as Autumn Night's career goes?
That is
we
very
covered a lot of ground
good question.
Too.
We did. I mean, kind of like what I talked about. I'm wanting to move into that like traveling content creator kind of realm. I'm enjoying featuring. I'm very honored to have won the competition this year. That was really fun. But I'm not exactly a spring chicken anymore. I've been in the industry for a while. Thank you.
I'm not gonna ask how old you are.
I'm 35.
I'm just gonna ask how old those breasts are.
Ooh, they were born in 2020. Yeah, 2020.
They look great.
Yep, they're 4. They're a little over. 4 in July. Mm-hmm.
They're a beautiful 4.
Thank you. Yeah, no shame there. Yeah, no big like industry goal. Yeah, I mean, probably being a traveling
Good.
content creator would be my main thing.
Well, I'm going to keep track of you. It's lovely to have you here. I'm so glad that I got you. I apologize for the timing, but I wanted you so bad. I know that it's shitty weather out, but let's make it work. And I'm looking forward to your performances, and I know everybody else is.
We'll make the best of it,
So,
no matter what.
Autumn, thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me,
All right.
Tom.
It's been
Enjoyed
great.
it.